Bad vibes.
Yes.
I am your host, Sabian, as usual. I am sitting here with amazing folks as usual. I've been on the road this weekend, and it's probably one of the best interviews we're going to get this weekend also. First of all, I'd like to get some introductions going. Miss Nia, can you please introduce yourself, please?
Hello, everyone. Hello, world. I go by Dinero. I'm an artist and songwriter from Virginia. I am an HBCU grad. You know, we throw that out there. Yeah.
HBCU grad. Okay. So what college you go
HBCU.
to?
I went to Norfolk State.
Shit. Okay.
Norfolk State.
I got a
Majored
bunch
in
of folks from there, man. All right. It's all right. This interview already good.
majored in mass comm. Yeah. There's a lot of layers to Nia Dinero. There's a lot.
Maybe we got a chance to peel the onion tonight. Maybe we'll find
you know,
out. Right?
maybe we'll peel some. We won't peel all. You know, we gotta leave some mystery.
Yeah, never want to tell too much. So before we start, big shout out to Dave. Hey, appreciate you, bro.
No problem.
Always in the background and giving us the hand. Big shout out to Big Chris. He's on his way to Charlotte. We had a good interview these last couple of days. Big shout out to our sponsors that have been out there for us. Diamond Boutique. Hey, ladies, go get your hair did. Help hit them up. Hey, they take care of you. Hey, just another podcast. They're always looking out for us. We're always going to give a shout out to them. Concoctions Liquor. Please look up the brother RC. We just did an interview with him. We're going to drop that pretty soon. The brother's coming up in Virginia. And hey, we're gonna dive right into it. I'm tired, but I'm drinking something right now. I think it's like some Red Bull and whatever.
Don't fall asleep.
Yeah, I'm not. It's gonna be a great interview, I'm sure.
Don't fall asleep.
I'm sure. Anyhow, Miss Nia Dinero.
Yes.
So the other day, me and Dave was going to the gym, and he was playing something in the car, man. I was just like, man, who is that? Like, is that Janae Aiko or something? Like, some new shit I ain't heard? Like, who's that sound? And he said, oh man, this artist named Nia. I was like, man, send that to me, man. Send it to me. So he sent it to me, and I was blasting it, jamming to it, and then it was like weird because I didn't know what happened. I added your Instagram page, and then the next day he was like, boom, hey, what's up? I was like, man, ain't no way in hell. Like, he told me he knew. I didn't know he knew her though. Like, he knew her.
Yeah, like our friendship, me and Dave's friendship is new. Yeah. But it was one of them friendships, or just one of those connections. It was just an instant connection. How that happened, I was invited to do my friend was having a photo shoot for his his apparel line. And Dave was doing the photography and everything. And so I happened to be there because I was the model. Mm-hmm. And then it just was a click. And then from there, he was like, well, I have some friends that have a podcast and da-da-da-da. And he was the connector. But, it's a vibe that, proves that you don't have to know someone for years and years and years to know that they're good people. So it's a good energy.
Well, the man of all trades, the jack of all trades has brought us together here. I really appreciate this moment. It's very special, by the way. So I dived in. I remember you hit me up. You sent me a bunch of your music, and so I dissect,
right.
artists. I mean, I give them my first
like
real
like
opinions.
that.
I'm not sugarcoating anything. If I don't like your music, then I'd be like, hey man, good luck to you.
Right.
But I really took the time and listened to your music and see exactly what you have to offer. So first of all, congrats to you. You're doing your thing. I see you're coming up. You got to deal with Sony.
So no, I have a distribution
deal with Sony, and so the music you sent me, I've been sending it out to my people.
Okay.
Getting their honest feedback from them.
Okay.
So I like to, dissect. So you told me you're from Virginia. Are you from
Virginia?
What part of Virginia you from?
So I live in Woodbridge.
You're from Woodbridge?
I'm originally from California.
Hmm.
So if you listen to Birthday,
I have.
I give a little bit of a
we'll talk about that.
You know what I'm saying? There's a part in there where I'm talking about February 3rd. I was in California going to meetings with my uncle up in Hollywood. A young girl seen him get in, and then y'all can notice. Then I got the Caesar playing it down, and my water good. But that's true. Like, I'm from Pasadena, California.
Pasadena.
I'm from Pasadena. My uncle, he was actually in concert promotion, like growing up as a girl, as a kid. He did concert promotion, so he had meetings and like I remember coming home from school one day and he had like a full out photo shoot in the backyard, models, like everything. So I think, it took me talking to a friend one time and he asked me, he was like, so when did you realize you wanted to do music? And I was thinking from, college age, and I told him that story about my uncle. He was like, no. He was like, what you don't understand is like, music was introduced to you at an age where you didn't even know, like,
yeah,
you didn't know, you know what I'm saying? Like, you were picking up on certain aspects of the dream, at an early age, so, yeah.
So would you say that your uncle was the one that gave you the inspiration? Being around?
I get a lot of inspiration, but my uncle, the type of person he is a risk taker. Like, so yes, like he's a dreamer. He's the type of person that's like, I've seen him have an idea, like literally say, okay, I want to get this person, throw a concert, just a conversation, and then do it. You know what I'm saying? Like put together a full out concert, everything. I remember in high school, he put together this concert in I forgot what the club was in DC, but he put together this concert, and I was in high school at the time. He got all my friends to be his street team, like, and like, but that's, just in general, like I just come from a family of people who believe in thinking big, dreaming big, going big.
Not just the regular 9 to 5. Hey,
I mean, if that's what if that's what you want, but if you have a goal and it seems out of this world, they don't necessarily say no, like you need to keep your feet on the ground. They'll say, do this, do this, do this, make sure you have an education, make sure you have this, make sure you have this, and we'll support, you know what I'm saying? But let's be clear, my mom has made it known, like if I didn't have the gift, if she didn't really see that I had it, she would not be supporting me the way she supported me.
Put the application in, baby.
Exactly, but I think because, I've been doing this for a minute, but I've received so much confirmation along my journey, and I've never backtracked. Like each step, whether it's been a small step, a big step, I've always taken a step forward, and I think that's what everyone sees, and that's why I get the support that I do to keep going for it.
So keep dreaming big. That's the message you give me so far.
Yes.
Hey, one day I want to be like Joe Budden. I can dream, right?
But there's levels to it, though.
Yeah.
There's levels. Like, you can have the conversation of just dream big, or you can have the conversation like dream big, but what's your plan? What's your focus? What's your strategy? Like I said, one of the first things I did say is that I did go to college. Like, my mom made it a point when I was 17, when I first kind of tapped into music for real. She was like, I won't really support it until you go to college. Like, that's what I want you to do for me. Like, you go to college, get your degree, and then you can do whatever you want to do from there. But, it just turns out that I went to school, for Mass Comm. And Mass Comm has helped me tremendously in my journey as an artist, as just someone in media in general. Like, it's bigger than the music for me. Like, this is, it's more so just the entertainment in general, entertaining.
And you're going back to get your master's soon, according to what you said, birthday.
That's the plan. That's the plan. Things are moving right now. Like, things are moving. But I've always, up until recently, like, I kind of put that in the back of my head. Like, that's my backup plan. You know what I'm saying?
It's a good damn backup plan.
Yeah, like, so I'm always going to move. Never going to stop. I'm always going to move.
So always having a plan. Your plan A right now. You full force in. You up there making your dreams happen.
After.
I see you.
Exactly.
You're a very busy woman. And, staying with it. So I had a few questions that I thought about over the last few days listening to music.
Okay.
So, of course, I listened to a bunch of music. I'm wondering what artists inspired you growing up. Now, male or female? I heard something, but I want to hear a confirmation. Because
I think some of the people that I'm going to name, you're probably going to be like, where?
Yeah, I want confirmation.
Where the hell did that come from? Like, how does...
Yeah.
Okay. I love Bone Thugs and Harmony.
You gave me a confirmation.
I love Bone Thugs and Harmony. Like,
I ain't believe that at first.
Seriously, like, I loved Bone Thugs and Harmony, like, growing up. Like, just their quick flow, the melodies, the harmony, just how they were able to flow but still create. I feel like they're some of the first ones to really create that melodic flow
that we hear right
that
now.
we hear
right?
now. Like I think they were like the first, one of the first, vibes to really do that and do it well.
That's really different. You don't hear a lot of female artists.
Yeah.
Or matter of fact, these days I don't hear a lot of male artists either that say Bone Thugs and Harmony.
Yeah, Bone Thugs. Who else? Who else during that time? I don't know. I don't know. I probably have more people that I can, as far as gaining inspiration or anything, I probably have more people in the now than back then.
So
but for some reason, Bone Thugs and Harmony just pops up in my head.
That gave you that creative mind did you like?
The creative mind, I think, I listen to them in the sense of like, being able to switch up the flow and switch up the cadences and, like I said, like add melody and
because there's a lot going on.
And like Bone Thugs, they do it's a lot. So I think in that it just shows you the power of what you can do with a rap song. Like you can do more than just rap. You see what I'm saying?
So what are your nows? Who are your nows that you would look say? You know what?
My nows, her. I love her. I love her. And what people don't know, like if you don't know, like her can flow. Like she can flow. Like her content, her message, just the way she carries herself, like her is definitely a vibe for me. I love Carrie Hilson. I love her songwriting. I love her ability to, like how she writes is very relatable. It's just it doesn't sound like she's trying to write. It just literally sounds like she's just writing from, writing in a way that like you can say it in a conversation. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Kind of like Drake, which is another one.
Drake is another one. Okay.
I love me some Drake.
Who don't like Drake?
I think Drake has a song for every emotion in life, for every situation in life.
Yes.
Yeah, man. I love Black Eyed Peas during that
Black
time.
Eyed Peas.
Another person that I think you're gonna be like, what? I loved Fergie.
Okay.
I loved Fergie.
She's very creative, so I can see that.
Fergie, like just her. I loved a lot of things about Fergie. Just like her flow, and like you said, her flow was really colorful. Like Left Eye. Left Eye's another one.
Very okay.
So I have a nice little range of people that I definitely am inspired by, or you know what I mean.
Okay, so Left Eye
yes.
is one of those that Left Eye is something that we really don't necessarily hear too often.
Mm-hmm.
I think she was one of those underrated artists, in my opinion.
Yeah.
That unfortunately, her life was taken too short. But I want to say that a lot of lady artists come out that hey, dude, is Left Eye one of those forgotten artists in a sense because her life was taken too short now? Because we don't think about Left Eye no more. We want to hear the Megan Thee Stallions
right.
and the Cardi B's. But if Left Eye was still here, what kind of music would it be? What kind of industry would it be for the female artists, anyways? In there.
I think Left Eye. Believe it or not, I think if Left Eye was here, she would probably be more of like an activist in a way. I think because she was always very passionate about what she felt and what she believed in. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, I think more people focus on the whole fire situation. Mm-hmm. Like when she did that situation. I think when a lot of people speak of her, especially like people our age, that's what they remember.
Yeah.
But like to me, Left Eye was just she was the full package. Like her flow, like the color of her flow, her cadences, mm-hmm. How if you had Left Eye do a feature, how she was able to stay on topic. Like she was able to get on a track, feature, ladies' night, whatever.
No matter who it was.
And still own her
yes.
lane, but still she stood out.
Yeah.
Like she carried her part. So yeah, like I I'm the type of artist, like, I think about people like that. I think about the Aaliyahs. I think about, like, to be honest with you, when I'm thinking of who inspires me, a lot of them are the ones that aren't in the industry right now. Like, the Aaliyahs, Left Eye. Even when I listen to her, like, I think, what was her last album? 21? Is that what it was called?
21, yeah.
21? Like, she almost gives me, like, a Lauryn Hill 2 point, like, another version of a Lauryn Hill. Like a, almost like the younger version of, like, the Lauryn Hill, to me.
That's a big comparison.
For real. Not in the way of kicking anyone out of their spot, or like, none of that. But just, to me, she just gives me a certain type of feel that's been gone for a minute, that we need, especially female artists in the industry. You know what I'm saying? Just like I said, as far as her message, like Miseducation of Lauryn Hill, she was empowering. You know what I mean? Like, she was preaching without being preachy. You understand what I'm saying? But she was still dope. And I feel like those are some of the things that we're just missing when it comes down to the whole music.
So this is a small question then. So do we consider Lauryn Hill to be a legend, or do we consider her album Miseducation Lauryn Hill to be a legendary album? That's something I want to know. Like, what do you think? I mean, because I'm thinking, like, it's a legendary album, but what if she put something else out? How else would it sound?
I don't know, but I think Miseducation is like her right now. I think Miseducation is her legacy.
It's still relevant.
Yeah, I think it just went diamond or something like that. Yeah, like, that's her legacy. Like, honestly, I think if you don't want to have longevity, if you don't want to create album after album, I think anyone should want to have a situation like hers, where you can put out one amazing classic, but that album has surpassed, like, time. Like, it's timeless. It's, like you just said, it just went diamond in 2021.
Not too many albums.
So yeah, so I feel like if you're not in a position to keep going and going and going and going, why wouldn't you want an opportunity? Why wouldn't you want that on your back, a Miseducation of Lauryn Hill on your back, or something like that, something that big on your back?
And like one of the greatest albums that a lot of artists look up to, and they'll put that in there, the Miseducation of Lauryn Hill.
Right.
Boom, it's still there. It's like one album that she gave.
Just one.
So
now, who knows if that's what she thought? You know, who knows if in her mind when she was making it, she thought she was just gonna do one. We don't know that, but
maybe she had some record label problems, or probably had something.
Maybe. But I can tell you, I know that when she was making it, she was intentional with each and every track, which is why it's still timeless.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? She knew, when I put this out, this is about to be the shit. Like,
put her heart and soul in every single track.
Exactly.
So what is the pressure like for lady artists, female artists? Now, I listen to your music. I don't hear too much of the, suck me this, fuck me this way, this, that, and the third. It's more coming from who you want to be yourself.
Right.
When the genre of music that we hear from female artists now is like sex sells. Mm-hmm. And that's the image that they give. Mm-hmm. How do you come about making your music and trying not to, just being yourself without having to put the sex? Because your voice, you have the sexy voice. Mm-hmm. You have the, you don't have to show people that you're feminine. Right. Like you have it already. So you don't have to display it and put in lyrics in there about what you would do this and that. So how does that come about?
That's a really good question. I think because, like you said, because I'm just being me. It's not a task for me. You know what I mean? It's like I don't go to the studio and say, okay, and rack my brain on how to not talk about pussy, bitches, this, that, because when you talk to me or people that know me, I can have a conversation with you and not talk about pussy, bitches, and all this other stuff. You see what I'm saying? So it's natural for me. I think the biggest thing for me when it comes down to writing is me being open with showing different layers of myself. Like, in a sense of, you see what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, I think that is more of a task than not just being someone that I'm not. I think the biggest thing for me is, you know, if I have a song like Birthday, like for a lot of people, me having a song like Birthday is totally different from what I've done. You know, and so for me, it's a matter of me telling myself, like, you know what, I want to say this, I want to do this, but I can do that because I started off from the very beginning when I started this, setting the tone like this is me, this is what I'm going to do. Sex does, you know, we are in an industry to where sex does sell, and you know, even I have to be mindful of those things, yet at the same time, I don't think the industry or society really pushes what sexy could look like. There's different ways to be sexy. For some men, being sexy literally is some basketball shorts and a college, you know, hoodie or something like that, their hair up, or something, you know what I'm saying? Or, you know, to me, one of the things I want to bring to the table that I feel like is missing is that mystery in an artist, in a woman. Just enough, but not giving it all to you to where it's like, you know what I'm saying? And so I think that's why I can move the way I can move. You know what I'm saying? Because I put myself in a position to where I decide and I choose what I want to talk about and how I want to talk about it. And it's almost like you wouldn't even feel right hearing me go to the opposite side. You know what I'm saying? Go like far left because it ain't me. You know what I'm saying? It ain't me. Like, yeah, of course, but that doesn't mean that I'm going to be in this box where everything's going to be sweet and pretty and this or whatever. I think right now I'm at a point in my life to where, especially in my creativity, where I'm becoming more and more comfortable with just speaking from my heart and however that looks. But now, you know, me being me, it's always going to be finesse a certain way. It ain't ever just going to be like, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, I think you just got to be here. I think, you know, I'm myself. That's how I work around that.
So does that creative freedom come from being an independent artist? Because most record labels, no, you're going to push out this. So who controls that? I mean, you're controlling everything that you put out. But do you have some advisors? Do you have a team saying, hey, put out this style of music this time around? Because Birthday was a shocker. If I was listening to all your music and boom, you drop Birthday just like that, I'd be like, oh.
Right.
So this is a different part of her. So who gives you that control? Is that just all you?
A lot of it is me, and a lot of it. So one of my new developments, I actually just signed a management deal.
Okay.
Going into the new year, I just signed a management deal, and I think the great thing about the situation that I'm in right now is he understands. Like, he understands what I'm trying to do. He understands that, like, okay, there's this wide open lane that's just wide open. It's been wide open for a long time when it comes down to the female artist. And we're all about, like, how do we create our own lane? Like, how do we make it happen? So I think, you know, it's a beautiful feeling when I can have an idea, and I can have that idea without talking about bitches and hoes and this and that. And he says, okay, I get it. Let's make that happen. You see what I'm saying? Because I have been in situations to where they told me, you know, you're dope, you're this, you're that, you're this, you're that, but, you know, maybe if you wear this, maybe if you do this, you know, maybe this, maybe that. And, you know, I mean, at the end of the day, I've given up a lot of opportunities that I guess for some, you know, for another person, they would look at like, why would you, you know, maybe if you would have taken that opportunity, you probably would have been in the game by now. But at the same time, it's like, that's why I'm in a position that I'm in now, to where I have peace of mind. Like, I can have fun making the music that I make. I can have fun creating the content that I make, because I don't have to be someone that I'm not. You see what I'm saying? Like, so I make a lot of the decisions, but now being in a situation where I do have management, it makes things a lot easier. You know what I mean? To get it out.
Yeah.
To get it out. I'll say that. I can have the idea all I want, but you can't do anything alone. You know what I mean? You definitely need a team to help put the plan together and execute the game plan.
So yeah, and that's excellent to have when you have a supported team.
Right.
Because if you're out here just putting out stuff because of what they think you want to do, I think you wouldn't be loving this anymore. you're probably like,
Yeah, and one of the things that you said, which is true, I think if I were to have signed to a label, we'd probably be having a whole different conversation.
Because they push what they want.
Because they push what they want. You know what I'm saying? For the most part. What they want. You know what I'm saying? For the most part. For the most part. Unless you have someone on your team that get you, that's vouching for you and pretty much like weeding you through the mess, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, you pretty much gonna be doing what they're telling you to do. And like I said, it's not all, even on the indie side, even as an unsigned artist, there's still, I'm not gonna say there's kind of like tricks and rules to the game, but there kind of are. It's like, yes, I'm doing things by myself. Yes, I created a lane for myself to where, I can, push sophistication and quality and edge and still be, feisty on one album or confident or bold or a boss or whatever that may be. But at the same time, like I said, it's still a business. You know what I'm saying?
Definitely.
So I still understand, sex does sell. I still understand, for a video or for certain tracks, giving a little bit of letting them see who I am, how I would love, what does that love look like, what does my idea of love look like, what would it look like painting that picture of, what would it look like to be with me, what would it look, you know what I'm saying? Like you gotta give those layers.
Thinking.
Exactly, you gotta give, like I can't be one dimensional.
No.
But my whole thing is, you don't have to put all your dimensions out there all at once. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
it's
like, we're seeing that now. Like, your music is very different. You're not just giving us, straight up, just sex this and sex that.
Right.
You give me so many different layers of yourself. So being an independent artist, some of the most, I think my phone has filled a lot of independent artists that didn't sign a deal until like maybe later in life, or some of them still haven't. Chance the Rapper is very big.
Correct.
Nipsey Hussle is very big. So does that, either one of them or artists just like them, give you any kind of inspiration saying, you know what, they can do it, I can do it so?
Yeah.
And being on the road of, you're building this from hand, from scratch. You did this shit. Nobody told you to do it. Like, you're doing it. No labels telling you to do it. So does that also play a big impact as far as like getting a connection with your fans too? Because those people have big cult followings.
Yeah. So one of the artists that you mentioned that I absolutely love and that's definitely inspired me, Nipsey. Like, I think he's one of the people, honestly, I really wish was still here. Like, I would just love to see what he would be doing in this moment. Definitely. Yes, rest in peace, Nip. But yeah, the industry it's totally different. It's totally different from what we remember, back in 106 and Park and TRL and back when
MTV.
You know what I'm saying? Like, back when labels and A&Rs were literally going out looking for talent, and then they get the talent, and then they mold the talent, and they put them through the machine and artist development, and they teach you how to speak and teach you how to do interviews and teach you how to do that. Like, they literally just create the star and then set everything up and then put you out, and it's almost like a guaranteed win that it's going to hit. You were going to say something?
Right, so, well, I'm thinking, like, how come these platforms don't exist anymore? Do you think technology may play a part? Do you have, like, big on YouTube? Are you big on, like, how was you discovered yourself? How did fans discover your music?
To my music? So I started at 17. I started in Norfolk State. I met a producer. Before I was a solo artist, I was in a group called Dreams to Dinero. And, well, actually, before the group, I met a producer, and he pretty much was like my producer, and I was the artist. It was honestly like a Timberland Missy type vibe, right? Okay. 2 individual artists, but we worked together.
Okay.
And at the time, I was an on-air personality for Norfolk State, working for Hot 91, and I went by Nia Soul. That was my name before Nia Dinero. Nia Soul.
So badass, Nia Soul.
So I was like Nia Soul. So which I think I'm gonna start using in certain things or whatever. But because, long story short, so I went by Nia Soul. Him and I on campus, like we were known as that male female clique that just does music. Like everyone knew us as those two people that were doing music all the time. And so I had already kind of established, honestly, Dreams to Dinero, being in that group created my foundation. Working together with him, like he taught me how to conduct myself in the studio, how to, vocal, like everything. Like it all started from Dreams to Dinero in Norfolk State in the dorm room, was honestly where we made some of like the best music. Those were honestly like the beginning stages, right? So then we wrote that through college. I got out of college. And so the opportunities that I had created in Dreams to Dinero kind of transitioned into me going solo in 2015. And so from there, pretty much like that's how it started. I ended up getting with in 2015. I ended up getting with a marketing team, and that was totally different from the situation I'm in now. Like right now, I have a manager. Before I was doing stuff with like a management company. It's a little different. You kind of like pay for service, and they do what they do and all the other stuff, right? So that helped, and each person that I met along my journey has helped to leverage and build the journey. Yeah, it did. Yeah, I've never backtracked. Like every move that I made, has been a blessing or a lesson, but has propelled me to this point now to where I just now feel, and I'm not saying that it was all perfect, you know what I mean? But I can honestly say, like right now, I'm finally at a point to where I feel like it's my time. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm at peace with this is what I chosen for myself. This is my life. This is it. I'm not saying music is it, but I'm saying just everything that embodies, like just going for it, taking the risk. You know what I'm saying? Whether it be non-conventional, entrepreneurship, just going for something big. Like that's me.
I think we can relate to that. And so speaking of taking a risk, what are the biggest challenges, that you've seen so far, or that you're maybe preparing yourself for?
The biggest challenges. Honestly, the biggest challenge in my journey so far has been honestly me. So going back to what you said about being an independent artist, some of the I guess the perks of being an indie artist, if you choose to look at it as a perk before you get signed to a major label, is that you have the time to really figure out if this is what you really want to do. Like you have the time to go through on your own. Yeah. You have the time to go through real life. Yeah. You have the time to really see if you can balance a relationship and balance your music and because you're not. The only pressure you feel is from yourself. You see what I'm saying? Like the only person in your way is truly yourself. When you aren't, you know what I'm saying? When you're pursuing this. So of course I had plenty of opportunities to know if I wanted to quit. I've had plenty of opportunities to where I wanted to quit. I've had plenty of opportunities to where, I've been in relationships that didn't work, and that, I was so just drained and everything to where I was just like, is this the reason why? Just so many different things, right? So, I think me working on myself has been the biggest obstacle. Me getting myself mentally, emotionally, spiritually prepared to go to the next level. And I feel like one of the things we're seeing now, if you pay attention, like one of the things that we're seeing now is just people's mental, emotional health is just all over the place. Like right now, we're seeing so many people in the industry just broken. You know what I'm saying?
I think we're being exposed to that now.
We're just being exposed to that.
But now it's like...
Exactly. So that goes back, like I said, everything ties. So that goes back to what we were just talking about how the industry has changed, about how the difference between then and now is that, and I always say this, there was a mystery of the industry. You see what I'm saying? It was almost like this wall that we couldn't get past. we still had that idea of like, man, I wonder what it feels like to be a Beyonce or famous or
Crack.
whatever. You know what I'm saying? So
Drugs.
we had like we had the MTV Cribs and all these things to give us this idea of like, man, I want this, I want this, I want this, I want this. The perception, right? To feed our perception. And then social, the internet, all that stuff hit, broke that wall down. So now we see shit for what it really is.
Yes.
We see it. Like, we see the instabilities. We see the mental and emotional health. We see the toxic relationships. We see a lot of the bad. There is good, but we're exposed to it all.
It's like good down here and like bad.
Exactly. And so, I think one of the perks of being in the position that I'm in right now is that I have the opportunity. Like, to me, it's a blessing. It's a blessing to be able to say, I can actually sit on the couch and peep game and watch this stuff from my TV and really, like, kind of dissect it. Like, okay, don't do that, or I want to make sure that don't. You know what I'm saying? Because we didn't have that during that time. So I can honestly say that myself, like, that's been the biggest obstacle. Like, me taking the time, at times blocking all the noise, at times, kind of shutting off my phone, not doing music, not doing certain things, to read, to be with my family, to pray, to just to make sure that the person that you see coming in this game, to make sure that Dinero, when you see Dinero, you're seeing an artist, but you're seeing someone who's whole. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're seeing someone who knows who she is. Not because it was perfect, but because I put in the work to really make sure, like, I'm built for this. Like, I already know I'm built for this. Otherwise, I would have quit. But it's like, I don't want you to just see me and be like, oh, she's just like that. Because that's one side of her, because she's Dinero. Like, nah, I want you to, when you hear me, when you see me, when you speak to me, when you hear the music, it's like, oh, man. And I know she's a dope ass person, and she's like,
she's really down to earth.
She's really down to earth. Like, you know what I'm saying? She's a good person from the inside and out. And that only comes with work. That
sounds, so far, the way you describe the industry, it would scare the shit out of me. You're telling me if I get signed to a major label, I lose control of what I can say, or what I can do. They want me to go here, they want me to go there. I guess that's some of the pros and cons. I guess you got to figure out which one outweighs the other. Right. If I'm a new artist coming in the world, what would you tell a new artist this tomorrow? A young Dinero like you tomorrow. That's 16, 15 years old, saying, hey, I want to start. What advice?
And they're getting into the 2021 game?
Yeah.
I would say, set up your situation to the point to where you're going into another situation with the partnership mentality. I think the biggest thing now, I think the biggest thing right now, what a new artist needs to understand is that they're not coming out looking for you anymore and molding you and doing things for you. You have to do the work. People, even now, like, people assume because I have a manager, like, all of a sudden, like, I'm overnight, like, it's just happening overnight. It's like, no, like, if anything, now this is where the real work begins. I just now have someone that's like, let's do this. Like, I'm not by myself. You see what I'm saying? So I would tell somebody getting into this game, you have to, first, make sure you're good. Make sure you are good. Make sure you're mentally, emotionally, spiritually, whatever you do.
I heard that.
Make sure you're good before you step into this space. Not just with the music industry or whatever, like any space that's not a structured space.
That's not what you're normally doing.
That's what you're not normally, in this type of industry, you're dealing with people, you're dealing with energy, you're dealing with opinions, you're dealing with thought, you understand what I'm saying? You're dealing with so much to where you have to be secure with yourself, number one. So I'll tell them you have to know who you are, be secure with yourself. 2, make sure, like, this is something that you really, really want to do. And then 3, believe in yourself enough to do the work, and everything else. If you do it and you believe it to the point where others believe it, then you'll get opportunities like this to where you're talking to somebody, then they introduce you to another person. And that person gets you a podcast opportunity. Yeah. And then that person, when...
This is a partnership.
You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Like, I was working with a producer, and, like, we were just having a conversation. we were just having a conversation. I was passionate about what I was talking about. I was like, this is what I need. This is what I want. That's another thing. You got to write stuff down. You know what I'm saying? Write stuff down. Write down your plan. You know, I was having a conversation like that, and next thing you know, a couple weeks later, I get a text message like, call this number. He's waiting on you.
Lord, I want $1 million.
You know what I'm saying? Like, he's like, call this number. He's waiting to speak to you. And that person ended up being my manager.
So connections off of
So it's just, and I don't even think it's just a matter of like just connecting. I think people connect based off of the belief system. Like, they believe.
They felt that.
They feel that person is going to make it, or that person will utilize that opportunity, or that person, like, I want to be a part of that person getting that next step. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, so know yourself, know your why, know why you're pursuing what you're pursuing, but then also know it's going to take, it takes work. I think the biggest thing now is, like we talked about, not everyone's kind of, you know, I'm not going to talk down about the major label. I'm not going to say like all major labels are bad. I'm not going to say like if you go to a major label, like you're just gonna throw you to the wolves. But you know, like right now, like everything is shifted. Like right now, the indie wave is just the wave, and it's been like that for a long time. To where now more people are trying to be partners with labels, as opposed to just being signed under a label and you could possibly be shelved and Now it's all about get your situation, get your numbers up, get your, you know, not even number. I wouldn't even say that, because I went through a lot of back and forth throughout my career with people telling me I needed a certain amount of numbers, I need a certain amount of this, I need a certain amount of that, and then I went to other people that were like, you don't need that, you just need this, or you just need this. So at one point, you just gotta put out dope shit. Be dope, put out dope shit, treat people right. You know, don't feel like you gotta screw people over. Just get what you need to get.
It'll come to you.
It'll come to you, and just everything else will just fall into place. But just know, like, it's all about building and getting your stuff established, because then the next step will be taking those meetings. In that next meeting, you want to be able to sit across from the table and say, all right, I'm Nia Dinero. You know, this is what I've done. These are my numbers. This is what I've, you know, generated. These are my streams. I put out this. I put out this. I put out this. Then they're talking to you like, okay, well, we see that she can do this.
Taking you serious.
Now we just gotta figure. You know, we just want to invest.
Yes.
We just want to. We see where we can all win, and we can all make that money. So
I like that partnership vibe.
It's partnership. I think now. I mean, not, you know. I'm thinking more of a partnership. I can't speak for everyone else, but I just think now everything's kind of set up for you to think more of a collaboration than just trying to be under somebody.
I like that, because I think me and Chris had a situation like that last year, and a partnership, that's the idea, that's the goal.
Yeah.
So just digging into your music a little bit.
Okay.
I've heard some of your tracks, and that's interesting. You're saying that you're dealing with all these people.
Right. And
being in this industry, you got to deal with people, because that's who they are, right?
Right.
But you said in your song, in one of your tracks, and you talk for now, you said, and so you're introverted.
Yeah.
But
to a point.
How does that work, being an introvert, and you got to deal with people? Because I have introverted features,
right.
But I mainly put out introvert. But if you're an introvert and you have to give your artists, you have to give your fans what you want, how does that take a toll on your mental health? Or is this something that this is your way to come out and say, hey, you know, I got different sides to me?
It's a great question. It's a balance. So another thing about me, I'm an empath. You know what an empath is?
No, please explain.
So empath is like
Empathetic.
Empaths are just very sensitive to emotion, to feelings, to. I mean, like an empath. Like if you're having a conversation with an empath, a lot of times they can kind of like tell you how you're, you know, kind of sympathize on how you're feeling. But a lot of them feel what you're feeling, right? So some of the side of, you know, I guess like the side effects of being an empath is, a lot of us kind of literally need time to step away to regroup. because we're taking on so much
I
energy.
can relate to that.
You know what I'm saying? We take on so much, and you know, I'm an empath. My grandma, believe it or not, she was extremely intuitive, extremely. And my mom is the same way. She's very, very intuitive. So I guess you wouldn't say like from a family, like from I don't know if it's hereditary or something. I don't know, but I'm an empath, right? So I think when I talk about being introverted, I think that's more so like me being an empath, kind of, you know, showing its head. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, I think more so now, like going back to what we were talking about how like now you see everything. Like there's no wall blocking the mess. I just think now more people like myself are just more careful about people, being around energies. Like all that stuff is real. Like, you know what I mean? And the reality is people don't, I'm not going to say all people, but just a lot of people aren't aware of the energy that they're giving off. Like a lot of people aren't aware of how they affect people. And you have to almost like, you know what I'm saying? And you almost have to protect yourself. Like you almost got to double the protection, because it's like you're protecting yourself, but then you're also protecting yourself from other people's like ignorance of not knowing. Does that make sense? Like what they're bringing across. So I think for me, music is an outlet. It is an outlet. I think like I said, even now, or even at one point, I even struggled with just being totally honest in my writing. Like I would write, but I would overthink about, maybe I shouldn't. I don't know how this person's gonna feel. That's where being an empath. I don't know. Someone might feel instead of like one of the things they tell you when it comes to writing is like don't ever overthink when it comes to writing. It's your writing. Just write. You know what I'm saying?
You just can't say it.
I think now I'm at a point to where I'm more, it's just about me getting it off my chest.
Ooh, that's hard in this world now.
Getting it off my chest, but being because at the end of, what I mean by getting it off my chest, I mean like I'm a firm believer, like you can't pour from an empty cup. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, instead of me, and I'm sure we can all relate to just having that personality where it's like you care more for others' thoughts, opinions, feelings, how they feel, and then you just kind of take the back burner. And I'm just at a point now to where it's like, no, we can still be, now I'm learning how to make myself present in a sense of like, I'm not drowning out. You see what I'm saying? I'm not putting myself in a space where my mental and emotional health is all jacked up because I just didn't, I cared too much about how they felt or thought. When in reality, if you're in a healthy space, if you're automatically in a healthy space, you should be able to express yourself and you should be able to say it. And they would encourage you
in a healthy way,
to express it in a healthy way. You know what I'm saying?
Right. So, I mean, coronavirus is taking over everybody's lives. So, everybody should have the goddamn time to actually, you know, talk to themselves and figure out, like, damn, maybe I am a fucked up person.
You know?
But, so, this is, I'm hoping that, hey, maybe you took the time yourself to get to know yourself more in the coronavirus pandemic. I'm sure you did. I did also.
Yes.
Speaking of coronavirus, though, what are some of the resources? What are the things that you're doing now to connect to your fans, to get the music out there? There's so many different resources I'm seeing. People, OnlyFans is not just used for shaking ass and sex and all that. A lot of artists actually go there to put out concerts for the fans.
Right.
So, do you have different platforms that you're using now to, you know, continue doing your thing with the coronavirus?
So, believe it or not, and Dave knows, my manager, shout out to Brandon, he actually just told me I need to engage more. And I think that goes back to the question that you just asked about being introverted and like people just really do not believe me when I tell them like I'm shy. Like I really am shy. Like for some, I don't do a lot of lives.
Yeah,
I don't do like, it's almost like the things I do, I have a lot of, like I can control, You know what I'm saying? How much I put out, da 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 da. So when I do lives and da da da, and it's just out,
Yeah.
you know, that kind of makes me a little nervous. But at the same time, it's necessary. So you know, lives, TikTok. Now don't judge me, but I do not have a TikTok.
I just got one.
I did
My
not,
old ass
but-
just got one. So.
But look, my brother-in-law convinced me to get a TikTok, so I'm gonna be doing, you know, I'm gonna be getting a TikTok. So yeah, that TuneCore for a lot of
What is
new
it?
artists. TuneCore.
TuneCore.
TuneCore is
Okay.
a great way to get your music out there. It's like what is it called?
SoundCloud or something, or
No, it's like a distribution platform. But it's something that, like, you know, I think it's like $10
I gotta look this up.
a month. Yeah. So, you know, a lot of people come up to me and they're like, "Well, how do you get your music on like Apple? How do you get it on Spotify? How do you get it?" It's almost like dang, what is it called? I can't remember the other one. But no, TuneCore is the one that I used before I had distribution with Sony.
Okay.
So I used TuneCore. So that, you know, if you want to get your music out to all Amazon, Apple, Spotify, all that stuff, to all Amazon, Apple, Spotify, all that stuff, you can go through TuneCore. Yeah, YouTube. Those are other things I'm
You talking about owning your masters?
Okay, yeah.
In this industry, we know how it's a dirty world. People don't own their masters, and their song is being used all the time.
Right.
And they're not getting paid nothing for it.
Right.
How important is it to you to own your masters? You said do you own your masters to your music as an independent artist? And
I'm literally like this close to own my masters.
so how important is it to you to own your masters? I mean, it's a
very
dumb question,
important.
but
No, it's not.
people need to hear that.
It's very important, but I think it goes back to the perks, some of the perks of the things that you can make sure you get together, as you know, before you get to whatever whatever your main goal is, whether it be signing to a major label, whether it be signing to an indie label, whatever your main end goal is. Mm-hmm. I think those, like getting your masters or creating your own publishing company. That's another thing I'm in the process of, or actually did. Right. Publishing company, making sure your LLC, making sure that you're connecting your music to ASCAP or BMI or something. Like, just get your stuff in order. Like, going back to that question of what would I tell a young person getting into this game? Like, make sure you have all that stuff together. I'm a firm believer, like, if you go to a table with nothing, you're giving people the opportunity to tell you what you're going to be, what you're going to do, what you're going to eat. This is what you're going to do. But if you go to the table and you're like, oh, I'm already LLC, I already have an LLC, or I already have a publishing company, I already have, even if you're leasing beats. This is another thing. Like, a lot of us lease beats, right? Not everyone has like a set in-house producer or an engineer. Some people, you go to BeatStars or you go to whatever to buy the beat, right? Yeah. I'm a firm believer, like, really, 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 really push. I know it's going to cost some money, but really push to buy the tracks, like, exclusively. Like, buy them. You know what I mean? To where you just cut out. I mean, of course you might have to, you have to pay like a little percentage, but I'm like, even when you're doing that, like, have a game plan as to how you're going to make it yours. Yeah. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's extremely important. That's your business. Like, that's getting your business in order. Like, it's bigger than the song. It really, really is.
You should come to the table with the state and asking the people, hey, this is what I may need from you. Can you offer it to me? If not, you can walk away and say, you know what, it's cool. I don't need you. So, have you ever did anything live performances? Mm-hmm. Any live performance? And how many live performances? And what was the feeling that you get when you did your first live performance? And where was it? If you don't mind me asking.
Where was my first? My first live performance was in Poughkeepsie, New York, and I was a part of a group. I was part of like a 5 4-person group. We thought we were like the Black Eyed Peas.
Temptation.
We thought we were like the Black Eyed Peas.
Okay.
You said Temptation.
Yeah.
But yeah, we were invited to Poughkeepsie, New York, to perform at this festival or something like that. But I get the same feeling for every performance. Like, I'm nervous as hell. Like, I'm literally shaking up until I like words come out of my mouth. Like, once I actually like start speaking into the mic, something in my mind just says, all right, your ass is up here now. You can't turn back. So then I just do it. It's almost like I do it out of like, you can't do nothing else. Like, you better do something. And so, but I'm learning, I want to cut that, because when you do it like that, like some of the shows that I've had or performances I've had, I can't even remember what I did, because you're just in this zone. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. It's like your mindset is like, okay, I'm trying to get to the end, to the goal. You understand what I'm saying? And so I think moving forward, just in my live performances, I want to feel it. Like, I remember one time I heard a documentary, an interview with Drake. And Drake was saying how, like, when he first started doing shows, he would always kind of like have his eyes closed, like when he would flow. Yeah. And someone told him, like, you need to start looking at people, like, open your eyes, And so I want to just get more, you know, I want to just get more into to really like connecting,
making people feel that energy.
Making people feel the energy, like creating like intimate moments, even if it's a hype song, like really creating like an intimate experience. Like, I really, really love, like, growing up, I used to love, like, the unplugged vibes.
Yeah.
Like, I really want to do something like that, where you have a track, and you talk about it, and it's just real vibey and intimate. Even if it's hype, like, even Jay-Z did something like that. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, something like that. I want to bring that type of stuff back. Because, like you said, like, all that stuff worked. So I'm not understanding why, just because we had social media and everything else, why those things have to go away.
Because, I mean, you get those different feels when you go to these concerts. I went to the J. Cole concert 2014, and it was very intimate. The dude had on a black t-shirt, black shorts, and the ones, the Chicago ones.
That's my favorite album.
He sat there with the crowd and had a conversation, a story, and he's like, I got all these fucking lights, and I couldn't tell you exactly how much they cost. I know they cost a lot of money. I don't care about none of that. I want to give the artists exactly what they came for. And people were just vibing. Like, that was probably the most impactful time of my life, like, music-wise. Because that album, everybody can relate to something on that album. So, and that's what I look for in these artists these days. Like, can I relate to them? Are they down to earth? Are they giving you that vibe that, you know, man, I want more? So, I mean, that's the music that, so far, that's what I see from you. So far, you're gonna give artists, you're gonna give their fans what they want, and not what we want to hear, not what people want to hear, not what the big people want to hear, the big money makers want to hear. So,
and one of the things you said, like, I don't mean to.
You good?
One of the things that you said that I love is, I mean, from what I'm getting from you, it's like you love a real structured album. You want an album. You want to feel. You want from top to bottom. You want interludes. You want to hear the storyline. And I feel like that's something that's definitely like missing. Like, you don't really have projects with themes and you know.
Just here you go.
Just here you know what I'm saying? And I don't know, another performance that I had that I think I had the best feel was the Fillmore. Oh, wow. I performed at the Fillmore in Silver Springs.
Nice.
So, same feeling, nervous as shit, but, you know.
Do you have a particular artist that you like in the future, or a producer that you're just dying to work with, or you like got plans already cooking up? What's cooking up in the oven anyway? What you got?
I can't say.
Just give up.
Just know I'm working with two major producers that we know. I can't put it out right now, but yeah, we're working. We're working. I think a producer I really want to work with. I mean, of course I want to work with Timberland. I need to get something with Timberland. Timberland. I want to work with London. learning on the track. I want to work with her.
Okay.
I want to work.
I can see that too.
I want to work with her, even if I'm just doing like a verse and I'm just flowing on the track or something.
Yeah.
I want to work with. There's a couple people I want to work with, but yeah.
We're
trust me.
to it.
I have some after birthday. I'm working on something special, and I will make sure that you were the first person to know when it drops, and when it drops, it's gonna be right.
You have an album cooking.
I got that, and I got something else.
Only time.
Dave knows.
Yeah.
Time
Dave
is
knows.
ticking. Time. That's all we got. We got time. Appreciate you today.
Yeah.
We can sit here all day long and just flow about everything, and I don't want to bore you too much.
No.
Late night advice. Can you please do a favor? Tell everybody your social media platform, your Instagram, your Twitter, whatever you got.
Right here.
Yeah. Here we go. This one here. Yeah.
All right, what's good, everyone? Like I said, I go by Nia Dinero. You can follow me on IG at Nia Dinero, NIADINERO, and also follow my website, niadinero.com, NIADINERO.com. Yeah, Nia Dinero on everything.
Late Night Vibes. Please follow us on Instagram, Late Night Vibes Pod. That's all you get from me. I'm extremely joyful, and Dave, thank you for this opportunity. You're getting the connection going. I really appreciate the network, and till then, good luck to you.
Thank you.
And
good luck to you too. This is dope.
Thank you. I'm looking forward to hearing more of your music in the future, and I'll be the first to hear it, and I won't share it. Promise.
Definitely.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.